This is it. This is your new beginning. This is this is where do we go from here? What's that thing that has been on your mind where you're just like, when's it gonna happen? When's it gonna happen? It's gonna happen now. We're gonna at least start it right now with the spring equinox, which is when we sow our seeds. The eclipse, which is bringing transformation, massive transformation in. And we have a new moon, a new start, a new beginning. This is your time to shine with a new start. And all of this is going to help you with your manifestations all the way to the autumn equinox, September 21st, which also eclipse season there from September 7th to September 21st. So plant your seed now, sow it in, ground it in, root down, just like a seed does. It doesn't sprout out here first. It roots, it grounds down. So working through the winter, you think a lot. You're hibernating. You're hiding from the cold. Excuse me. At least I know I am. In front of my fireplace, under blankets, trying to be cozy, and thinking of all the things I want to create, all the things I want to do in my life. And spring comes and we get so excited. Just like if you're a gardener, you're thinking of all the plants you want to put into the earth. You're getting excited for it. You're getting ready. The end of winter, you start getting your soil ready. Maybe even you start some seeds inside of your house. And then spring comes, warm weather comes, the frost goes away, the rain comes in, and you're ready to go to work. That is the energy that is here right now. Coupled with the eclipse, it is here to help you transform what it is that you want to transform. What is it that you desire? What is it that you want to bring out of you into this world? What is it that you want the universe to bring to you? This is the time to ask. And not just ask, not just dream about it, imagine it, do a vision board. Those things absolutely help. But how we bring it from here to the physical, to reality, is by grounding in. When you sow that first seed, you have that first idea. You root down, you root it down. How do we root it down? Not non-metaphorically speaking. We take action. Now you say, oh, you can't take action during eclipse. I don't agree with that fully. I think it's something that's said in the echo chamber of the internet. But in order for transformation to happen, yes, the universe brings it to us, but it also helps us plant the seeds that we want to plant. It helps us transform. And you cannot transform without action in the 3D. And it's great being out here in the 5D. It's expansive. It's exciting. It brings joy. But if you are not grounded, if you are not doing physical work, action here on Earth, then these things cannot manifest in the 3D. I can go into astral and create a mountain of gold coins and cash. Just by my thoughts, I can make that appear in astral. But I cannot bring that pile of cash into the physical world if I do not ground it to the physical world. Does that make sense? I hope I'm getting through to you, because again, the echo chamber of the internet is telling people to be out here in 5D. You don't have to be in 3D anymore. I disagree with that, because we're here to have human experiences. We're here to have physical experiences. You cannot bring what you have experienced here to here unless you root it down to the earth. A simple exercise that I like to do to ground myself, and I started doing this during the flighty part of my spiritual awakening. I didn't really understand how to control coming out of my body. It just would happen spontaneously all the time. And I didn't know how to get back to my body. And now I know you just focus on your breath, and there's some other tricks, but mostly the breath is what grounds you. It's the first thing you do as a human being when you exit your mom's womb. What do the doctors, they have to get the baby to breathe. That's what makes us human. So breathing, that's why breathing is so necessary, obviously, to life, but in everything we do, in everything that we want to ground, always ground with your breath. And by focusing on your breath, I need to adjust my baby monitor there. So a simple exercise that I do with breath work, is I imagine roots coming out of the soles of my feet and going into the earth, all the way to the core of the earth and wrapping around the core of the earth. So I know I'm grounded. I'm here. When my son was in the hospital, he was in the ICU for 4 months. He's got very serious heart conditions, heart defects. And after the first surgery, he left his body, and he was not grounded. He still had that I can go if I want, and what his physical body just went through was trauma, and he had every reason to leave. And I'm so grateful to him for being here. I'm so grateful, so grateful. But the next surgery, we had to stay in the hospital until the next surgery. And hopefully that surgery would enable us to leave the hospital. I knew it was so important to get him to ground. I knew it was so important to get him out of the hospital so he could touch the earth, so he can feel the heartbeat, so he can have fresh air. And we were up 3 stories where his unit was. And I asked the doctor one day, before his second surgery, I said, I really need to get my son outside. Is there any way that this can happen? I was like, spiritually speaking, for me, this is very important. And she said, yeah, absolutely. As long as your nurse today is okay with it, they can take you down to the courtyard. And I just, wow, okay. So I was so excited. So the nurse was absolutely okay with it, because I think they wanted to not be in the ICU too and get a breather. So we put my son in, his little wagon stroller, and all of this machinery and the oxygen tank and everything that he was hooked up to, and we wheeled him outside, and I was able to put him on the earth. I had to lay down a blanket, but I used cotton, so he could still get the effects of grounding. And I was able to lay there with him, and he just slept, and he just had so much peace. And I just thought, thank God, thank you. To me, I felt like that's what he needed. He needed to ground. And babies, especially when they're young, and this is relevant for you as an adult. When babies are young, they are not connected fully to their bodies. They're connected, but they're not grounded to the earth yet. You work on your root chakra when you are young, when you are a baby. This is all about growing this root chakra so that you are grounded to earth. Because you came from the heavens and wherever you were before. That is why it is so important to ground as a young child. And a lot of us don't always get that because of medical trauma, like my son, or emotional trauma, psychological trauma, physical abuse. Things that we go through as a young child might have messed up that root chakra being able to really ground in. So for people, especially who have gone through trauma as a child, it is so important to ground. It is so important to I don't want to say fix, because you're not broken. Just need a little adjusting. And that will help you. That will help you bring your manifestations to earth, grounding into the earth, grounding into the planet. So how we can do these exercises in the physical, not just imagining, but is by placing our feet on the ground. placing our ideas on the ground. What is it that you want? You want to bring that giant stack of cash that you imagined in astral, or you imagined in your dream life. You want to bring it to earth. Go outside and put money in the earth. Put a coin in the earth. Ground it to this planet. And that is what is so special and amazing about this time of year, is this is a year for planting those seeds. This is the year to root in, or time of year to root in. And then throughout the spring and throughout the summer, we watch it grow. We watch it sprout out, reach a height, and then expand. Just like an oak tree, just like the thistle, the Scottish thistle. I love the Scottish thistle because it literally has a crown on top. When it expands, it's a crown reaching for the heavens. But it cannot get this without the roots growing first. And just like the thistle's tough. It's protected. It protects itself with thorns, with pointy, sharp things. And then at the end, it's heavenly. It reaches to the cosmos with a purple crown. So, if I can get you to take away one thing from this video, it's to root in this spring, with this spring equinox at the beginning of spring, and let the eclipse help transform your life. Throughout spring and summer, take physical action. Take steps that are grounded to get you to where you want to be. You want a new career? Take actions, take steps to get to that new career. You want to grow a family? Take actions, take steps to grow a family. Whatever it is that you want to bring into this world, do it with grounded steps. And I want you to mark in your calendar September 21st. And I want you to write what it is that you want to bring into the world. And then every single day, do something to get you there. And on September 21st, I want you to look back on this journey of the spring and the summer. And I want you to see what you have done, what you have grown, what you have manifested. I hope you enjoyed this. If you liked what I had to say, and I don't say any of this because somebody told me to believe it. I read it in a book, although I have read a lot of esoteric books and Celtic shaman books. What I teach about because I have experienced over and over and over and over. I tell you how I did it, what I have done to make these things happen in my life. And they really have manifested in my life. And I'm so grateful to the universe, but I had to make changes in my life. I had to take action in my life. And I want that for you. Even though we've been in the darkness, we've been in chaos, we've been in trauma, you can overcome those things. Those things can help callous you. Like the thistle. The thistle starts as a seed in the darkness. But in the darkness, it's able to get water, nutrients, and then sprout out after grounding in. Okay, I hope this helped. Peace to you wherever you are.